Okay, with step number 2, I've got myself 4 G clamps, called G clamps because they're in a G shape. And these other longer clamps that hang on the wall over there are called sash clamps, S-A-S-H. They're called sash clamps because they used to glue the window sashes together, long frames and so on. Okay, so PVA glue, step number 1, squirt some PVA glue onto your piece of wood. Same with the other one. You notice I do a zigzag pattern and don't just splash it everywhere, plus a little bit extra around the edges, because that's where, if there's going to be any gaps, it'll be around the edges. Next thing, just approximately put the piece of wood down the centre line, and then maybe get a little bit of glue on the edge, and same thing again. Okay, so hopefully, whoop, it's not down the centre line. So down, even overhang on either side. Even overhang, even overhang. Now to stop it slipping around whilst I'm gluing it together, because once the glue's put on, the wood tends to become slippery with the liquid. I'll just put a bit of masking tape on either end to hold it in place. Then turn this one over and it goes in line with the one that's underneath. Okay, so they're now ready to go into the sash clamps. I've already set the sash clamps up so they're about the right size. To set them up, you take the pin out and slide the stop along until it's in the right position. And for me, it's the second hole back. If you're working with a friend, you can do multiple glue ups in one. You don't have to just do one at a time. Now, when I put that in there, hold it gently. Oops, it's fallen down. Hold it gently. Wind the screw into place just until it's got a little bit of pressure on it. Check that it's level. Yep. And check that it's level. Yep. Okay and okay. And then a little bit more pressure. Now I'll put some pressure on either end. Slide the stop the wind out of the way. You can see a bit of a glue squeeze coming out. That's good. You want a little bit of a glue squeeze all the way along, but not too much. Too much is just wasting the glue. And there's the glue squeeze along there, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And this one is just starting to squeeze up now. Some of you will probably have timber that's got gaps in it. So if you do, that's where the G-clamps will come into place. And you'll be able to squeeze that a little bit tighter. Just to make sure it's all tightened up nicely. Don't want to have gaps in our rolling pin, it'll look ugly. And it might even be no good for it because food could get in there and stuff. So down the bottom too. And I should have put this one on the bottom first. Down the bottom. You notice I've got 3 clamps across the bottom. The sash clamps, they're about a finger span in from each end. 50 millimetres thereabouts, and then 1 in the middle and the 4 on top. So that sits there overnight and dries, and then we move on to the next step. So that'll be step number 3. This was step number 2, gluing the timber billet together.